Hello and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show. We're here to give instant match reaction to Leeds United 1, Fulham 0 in the Premier League with myself, Stephen Brown, and joining me as ever to discuss the performance and review the match. It is, of course, Jason Booker. Welcome along, Jason. A fantastic win for the Whites today. Suffered a major blow before the game. Obviously, rumours overnight that we were missing a couple of first-team stalwarts in Anton Stack and Jakub. So Leeds could have crumbled, Leeds could have suffered, might not have been at the races today, but definitely not the case. This team is made of sterner stuff and they've proved it, getting a fantastic last-minute winner there with Nmecha with a fantastic strike. Jay, I mean, a victory in the Premier League, it's a rare occurrence for teams in the bottom half of the table or the bottom quarter where we're at. It always feels amazing. To get it 90th minute, it just makes it even sweeter. And they've shown resilience. I think, you have Daniel Farke's press conference on Thursday. It's a fit squad. There's only Dan James out. I thought to myself at the time, I was like, God, our medical team, they've done wonders this year. But then to have, two key players, like, they're right at the top of my list of players you don't want to be missing from this Leeds team that you don't want to lose. But the boys have done absolutely fantastic. And I thought especially second half just asserted their dominance, had all the play, the endeavour. Farke's making attacking substitutions. He's getting more on top of the pitch. Suddenly we've got all these options. You've got Nonto, Tanaka, Nmecha, the goal scorer coming on, and we managed to get over the line. And we're looking at 25 points in the Premier League, Jay, with 16 games to go. So we're in a really, really good spot. But your feelings a few minutes on from full time, mate?
Yeah, I mean, we looked like the established Premier League team. That's what I thought. And Fulham looked like the team that were maybe looking over the shoulders at relegation. They were going into this 6 unbeaten. Obviously, we lost our unbeaten run against Newcastle, but it didn't really look like that. Everything kind of shipped up in the same way. We lost 2 massive players in the run-up, as you said, in Stack and Biol, who have been so pivotal during this kind of system change to 3-5-2. Stack especially, in terms of what he gives us up and down the pitch. We did miss it from time to time because Gruev's got his limitations, but overall the performance was so strong. And again, we've limited a team. Harry Wilson's been getting all sorts of credit this season, deserved. Kevin comes on, Raul Jimenez. They've got some decent players within their squad. We limited them to nothing. Again, and we're going to get on to Darlow's performance in a bit and the decision around all of that, but Darlow has nothing to do. It wouldn't have mattered if there was an outfield player in the goal today. That's literally how, the performance wasn't scintillating. We've played better than that. We've played better than that and lost as well. But we played in such a controlled manner in which we dominated the game. We really controlled the game. And second half was really one-sided. We were the only side that were really looking at win the game. To the point when it was still 0-0, they were bringing centre-backs on. They were kind of happy to see the game out at 0-0. And we deserved it, mate. We really, really deserved it. We didn't create like a hat full of loads of good chances. There were loads of half moments. But it's a massive 3 points. I said to you at the time West Ham were drawing, but I said to you, that's us safe. At 10 points. Now, I might have to kind of just reframe that just slightly because of what then happened afterwards. But it feels very, very, very comfortable. And Gav's just put 2 points behind Spurs there. The facts is that there's a group of teams that we're in and amongst there that we're arguably better than. We're certainly in a moment in which this team are really together. Quality's there. We're finding a way of playing. The manager's got it right. Daniel Farke's got everything moving in the right direction. And it looks like we're going to be more active in January. So, we're in a really, really good spot, man. And I think it's a massive 3 points today. Massive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you make a really good point about playing, how Fulham came into this game. They were unbeaten for a run. They had an unbeaten run, got themselves into the top half of the table, absolutely flying. Harry Wilson, he's having man of the match performances. And it's another team that we've nullified. It's another team who have all these weapons and are playing really well in a rich vein of form that we've just completely stifled. And You know, I mean, it's not a coincidence, is it, Jay? I mean, that is game management, that's tactical, that's Farkas planning and prep, it's set up, it's what's happening on the training pitch. You know, there's other factors as well, obviously, Ellen Road and that kind of thing. And are the other teams up for the fight always? Not necessarily so. But I just think it's absolutely incredible. I mean, a mate of mine who's not a Leeds fan, and he's kind of texts me after every game. He's like, that's another team that's played poorly against you, another good team that plays poorly against you. And it's like, this is not a coincidence now.
Well, when is Daniel Farke going to get the credit? Like, I mean, we've been banging this drum. We were banging the drum when it were bad, right? And Gav's a great example. When are the haters, and I don't mean that in a real negative bit, but the people that were really banging on the outdoor, when are they going to give him the credit now that it's gone so right? Because you're absolutely spot on. This is not a coincidence. We are making these teams look distinctly average week after week after week, especially at Ellen Road. You know, and the Spurs result is a bit of even more of a kicker now because we've seen the way that they've gone this season. But we deserve to win that game. Villa, who, you know, for a point were flirting with being a potential title challenger. You know, they're the games that we've lost at home. Yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? Like this team under Farke, because I still think the quality is limited. I think the players are making the most of what they've got. They're playing in a real confidence. They're playing in a system and behind a manager that they really believe in. Yeah. And, you know, this systems conversation is funny for me because we are winning games and scoring the most amount of goals when we actually transfer into the 4-2-3-1. Yeah. And the formation is very fluid within that 3-5-2. I mean, there's all sorts of going on. You know, there were a point today when Nonto were right back. You know, and like people are just so quick to say, well, you know, Farke don't know what he's like. I think he deserves so much credit.
Yeah, I could not agree more. Let's get to some of your comments. Gav, a win for Terry. Yeah, fabulous. Terry Yorath tribute before the game. Good to see Gabby in there as well, Gabby Logan.
That was really nice, by the way. The little brief moment to Gabby, and I'm guessing her daughter. I thought that were lovely, that.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a great game, but still 3 points. Don't you persuade why so. Any fans are upset. Yes, West Ham got a late winner, but we're still 8 points clear.
I said to Brownie before we went live on that point, and do go through more comments, Brownie, but I said to Brownie before we went live, like, yeah, sure, West Ham have got a late winner, but they are going to win games between now and the end of the season, which actually makes this win even more vital. They'll be looking at, the West Ham fans will be looking at today and be like, God, we've won away from home and we've not even closed the gap. They'll be fuming. You know, we've got a last minute winner. So this is actually a massive positive for us in terms of the way that it kind of landed. And Spurs are Spursy, man. I mean, they are so bad. They're actually in this relegation battle as well.
Absolutely, 100%. Michael, before today's match, Fulham have been 12 unbeaten against newly promoted teams. Gav, let's beat Everton as we have Arsenal the week after. Yeah, we'll get to that as well. Let's talk about the team lined up. Let's talk about big decisions. Obviously, we mentioned Biol and Stack being out, but the one, I guess, that caught everybody off guard, certainly caught me off guard, was Lucas Perry dropped. Carl Darlow keeping his place, which feels like a huge statement from Daniel Farke. He'd been critical of Perry in his press conferences, which, you know, I feel like Farke he's not quickly one to throw players under the bus or even really single out, you know, players to criticise individually, but he has done with Lucas Perry, and he's kind of followed through now. That's Perry dropped. I mean, we talked a little bit about it in the group. I think we were both shocked and surprised at that. I'd expected Perry to be back in the team. In terms of your feelings about that situation and how Darlow did in the game, what did you make of that?
So first off, I was really, really shocked by it. Really shocked. We saw the staunch defence of Illan Meslier under Farke last season. It took a long time for Carl Darlow to get that nod, and it was the right decision, and he probably waited too long. I'm happy to say that Farke probably got that one slightly wrong, but I understood the reasons behind it. And then I understood the reasons why that would have merit now. Yeah. And, you know, this is a keeper that we've spent a lot of money on, that comes with a lot of pedigree, that needs to settle and you know, be given time. And I also think that the criticism has been extremely harsh. especially on his distribution. I think his distribution has actually been pretty okay. Like, not great, but pretty okay, you know? Should he have made a couple of saves there and there? Yeah, but also so should Caldalo. Caldalo's conceded 2 goals in the cup this season, and both of them he should have saved. That's facts.
Yeah.
Go and look at the goal. He gets an answer it the other day, and the goal against Sheffield Wednesday is an absolute howler. You know, maybe Caldalo didn't get brought into the starting lineup because Farke didn't have faith in him. He then brought him in after all that time, and then he's gained faith. So maybe there's a smaller gap in Farke's mind from Caldalo being the backup keeper to being the number one. Maybe that gap is now smaller than it was at the beginning of last season. So maybe that's the reason. But it seems really harsh to me on the back of one goal, which I think is dubious in terms of whether he was even at fault for, to then drop him. And I think the performance that you see from Caldalo today, I mean, he has nothing to do. So you can't critique his shot stopping because there was no shots to stop. But his distribution was way worse than Lucas Perry's today. Go and watch it. Again, you will watch it through different blinkers if you listen to all the narrative that Lucas Perry is terrible at distribution. But Caldalo's distribution today was terrible. He was going too long, too flat, too quick. He was, it was going into the wrong areas. I mean, he was shanking him out of play. And then we've criticised Perry for his game reading ability. I don't think Caldalo's was very good today either. There were a couple where he nearly got caught out. No, he didn't, but he nearly did. So I don't think he's the solution. Now, if you come on here and say we need a better keeper, I can hear that argument. I think he deserves a little bit more time before we get there, but I hear it. Like, if we were to sign a real steadfast, go out and make that transfer that would make that difference, I can get on board with it. But I don't think that Caldalo's the answer, personally.
No, I think, I voiced concerns about Perry for the last couple of games. I thought, and not even that moment at the end of the Newcastle game, but I just think in general, there's been an erraticness there, positional problems like we've mentioned, but I fully expected him to reclaim his place. It was, suggested maybe Farke went public because Perry is that type of personality, can take that and it might drive him on, but it just feels as if that's not quite happened. So yeah, it's one of those. It's going to rumble on. I mean, in terms of if Leeds will do anything in the transfer window, goalkeeper wise, I mean, I can't envisage it really, Jay.
I didn't think there were a chance that we would before seeing the team today, but having seen the team today, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
because the fact that he now thinks, Daniel Farke, this is, that Caldalo's our best keeper, tells me that we're in a position where we needed a better keeper than Caldalo 5 months ago. So why wouldn't we now?
Yeah.
Unless, do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, because like Caldalo wasn't the number one 5 months ago when we signed Perry. Yeah. So now you know what I mean. So unless he just thinks it's the right moment to take Perry out of the firing line, and at some point we'll bring him back in. Maybe Cal, with his experience, being in this country, knows the fans, all the rest of it. Maybe he kind of can see that he can deal with that pressure a little bit more. I think the fans, I think Daniel Farke's got good at this as well, but the fans will have been overall more calm with Caldalo in net today. Even though I think it's a wrong decision, I think there's been a trepidation around the fan base with Lucas Perry. And it was exactly the same conversation that we had when we went to the 3-5-2 in the Chelsea game. Farke has kind of got this nice balance with what to do with the fan base while not also affecting his team. Like, he could do the same with Tanaka. The noise around Tanaka and starting games. Yeah. He's ignoring that because he knows it's the best thing for the team. Yeah. Tanaka comes on at the perfect time today, and he's part of winning us the game. That's a management decision. That's a tactical player management situation that he won't get the credit for. It'll just be Ampadu's cross and Nmecha's finish that gets the credit. But if you go and have a look at the build-up, Tanaka plays a really smart punted ball through to Ampadu that, Gruev wouldn't have done that.
No, Gruev's not the player you're going to throw on to win a game, is he?
No, exactly.
Not, is he? Tanaka's got that in his locker. Please get your likes in as well, guys. I didn't ask at the start of the video. Please smash a like on the video. It really does help us out. Martin, it feels like justice has been done to this touchy-feely Leeds fan who lives and dies on the emotional roller coaster of 50 years of fandom. Wish I could be as objective as you guys, but I just can't. Martin, I completely understand where you're coming from.
It's not always easy.
Jay is the level-headed one here. I'm definitely not.
But, yeah, I feel you there, Martin, definitely. Let's have a look then. So, obviously, we had to rejig things, Jay. We had James Justin coming in that kind of right centre-back role. Jayden Bogle back in the team. How do you think that worked? And James Justin coming into the team in that role, because obviously he's been playing that kind of right wing-back role when Bogle's been out, but today pushed a little bit further back to cover that role.
I've been so impressed with him, mate. So impressed with him. He has just slotted in perfectly. You know, he looks fit, looks strong. He's got really good game reading. He's good on both feet. He's not as good as Bogle going forward in that right back position, but as the right centre back, and we've made mention previous to Joe Rodon kind of adapting this right wing back position as well as part of this three at the back, overlapping centre back. James Justin's even more suited to it than Joe Rodon is. Yeah. So while Biol's a big miss, and he is, and I'm sure he'll come straight back in when he's fit, James Justin's a perfect slot in there, and he's making himself a little bit undroppable right now. Like he's playing really, really well. He's, for me, the second candidate for man of the match today, behind Mr. my boy Brendan, and I just thought he was excellent today, mate. And we'll come to him, but I thought he was brilliant. But Justin was sensational. He mopped up everything in that area of the pitch, slotted in a back three. You know, he's not played there all season. I don't know how often he's played in a back three. He's not really a centre back, really, by trade. I know he can slot in there. It was seamless, mate. It was brilliant. Linked the play up well, confident. He even got an end of chances. There was one moment where he were carrying ball across the edge of the box and he hits a shot with his left foot. If it goes anywhere else other than straight at the keeper, it's probably a goal. You know, there's loads to like about him, and what's not to like, mate? Brilliant performance.
Sporting Journey, great win today, guys. Happy for Fark. He could have made a negative change, but went positive and brought Nmecha on, who won the game. I actually thought Nmecha looked really sharp against Derby. I know it's against Derby, but I thought his touch was back. I thought when he kind of came back from injury and he came on against Man United and Liverpool, he looked a bit rusty, but I think he's got that sharpness back. And, you know, as Sporting Journey says there, Farke, you know, in that position, 0-0, tight game, but you got the sense if we could just press on a bit, maybe there was something there from us. And again, you know, like we've touched on, Farke, positive subs, Nonto comes on, Tanaka, and obviously Nmecha. And by the way, that chart that I brought up on our last show, that's another goal for our freebie again, up those charts. If it's not Calvert-Lewin, it's Nmecha. So how many is that now? I think that's about 14 goals between them now, I think, for the season. Incredible.
But yeah, I mean, those subs from Farke and the way he's going after games as well. And, you know, people were probably criticising that we didn't do that earlier in the season, but I don't think we didn't have the options. We didn't have you know, we'd not kind of felt as way into the season yet, you know.
You need to build yourself that platform too. You know, at the minute, when you're 8 points clear, you can do that. Because you can run the risk of going to win the game with the jeopardy of losing it. You can't do that when there's more on the line. You know, when you're level on points or in the bottom three, you can't do that because the point's vital. The point would have been more vital had the gap have been closer. So you don't run that risk, and we're capable of doing that right now. What really impressed me was I think this Nmecha at left wing experiment needs to stop. Like I don't like it. He's clumsy. His decision making in the creative space of the game, I don't like at all. I think he's so good in and around the 9 spot. I think he offers so much there. But what I really liked about what Farke did was he made the swap. So he brought it onto one, and it kind of changed. I thought Okafor was a bit poor today as well. But maybe come to him as well. But we made that change, and then we made another change stylistically in terms of where people were playing. And I think Farke saw very quickly that it wasn't what he wanted. It wasn't working. And then I didn't think he'd do this, but then he went 4-2-3-1, but he basically played Calvert-Lewin and Nmecha up front together. Calvert-Lewin was the 10, and he was looking to play flick-ons, and Nmecha were looking at getting behind. And, you know, Nmecha's then in and around that position rather than thinking about being out wide when he then goes on to score the goal. And it's really, really positive. You know, and again, he just deserves so many flowers. When we were so dominant in games in the Championship, he would get criticism for not going to win 3 or 4-0. And I always said it was harsh. Keep control. We're winning the game. We don't need to go and do it. He's now showing a different kind of string to his bow with the options that he's got. And I still think this squad's limited. I think he's honestly bleeding the squad dry of everything that they've got. It's not in the same kind of realm as Bielsa season 1 or even season 3, you know, like getting what he got out of Luke Ayling and Jack Harrison and, you know, some of them players. It's not that, but it's close because this team, in my opinion, is still on paper, because football's not won on paper, but on paper, it's not as good as Bournemouth. It's not as good as Spurs is. It's not as good as, who else is in and around there? Crystal Palace. You know, Crystal Palace are 3 points in front of the FA Cup winners. Yeah. Forest, I mean, it's not a patch on Forest. I don't think.
No, I don't.
So, you know, and he's he's extracting so much out of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd have told me that Gruev will be playing in your central midfield in Premier League, I'd have been like, what's gone wrong? And Darlow in net, I'd have been like,
Who else does, and I like Ilya Gruev, but who else in the Premier League does Ilya Gruev play for?
No, I
don't. I don't even think he plays for Burnley and Wolves. No, genuinely, and I do really like him. Like, I've made this point about Gruev loads of times. Off the ball, he's so intelligent.
Yeah.
He's so intelligent, but his physical attributes, you will never convince me otherwise that he's technically good, because he's not. He can do the bare minimum, but he does such a vital role in Farke's system. That when he does play, you know he won't let us down because he does it so effectively. He's a funny player to watch.
He really is. A couple of comments. Glenn, Nmecha looked like a man on a mission today. Chris, thanks for your comments, mate. Hey up, lads. I'm so happy for the lad. He needed that goal. Could be season defining for him as a striker. All Leeds are we indeed. Let's have a look at some of the performances. You mentioned him. Man, Brendan Aronson, for me, he's my man of the match. And the reason why is he didn't see a lot of the ball for kind of the opening 10 minutes or so. And it was very kind of low pace and it was a bit back and forth. And I felt he was the spark. I feel like as soon as the ball goes to him and he's bombing forward and he's driving at players, he's making things happen, winning free kicks. He has that glorious chance, obviously. And I did think, oh my God, if he puts this away, I thought, again, Brendan, if he can do that. It didn't quite happen for him then, but I just love how he makes things happen, and it's funny actually because you can contrast it with Okafor on the other side, and you know when Okafor's like pressing, I know it's not his game, but it's that laboured kind of like, oh, I'm having to go again, and he'll let a player go past him, and it's like a half-hearted attempt to kind of, you know, and you got Brendan who's storming back, and he plays with so much intensity, you know, on and off the ball. And I just think he's absolutely vital. I think when we look back at this season and we look at his impact, he really has been a spark to this team. He really has. You know, you can look at some of the wins against West Ham, his impact in that game, obviously, in this great run we've had, you know, since December. And I think he is absolutely vital going forward. I know I heard some people saying Buonanotte is coming in, so that means Brendan's going out and Buonanotte is not a chance. I mean, you know, just not in a million years.
I genuinely think he's been the best player in the run since Man City. Since I think he's been the best player, and that's crazy. Like, and I don't just praise him because I've defended him. I just observe the game. Like, if Brendan Aronson was putting in the performances that Okafor is, and he was getting the pelters that he got, I could kind of understand it. And I like Okafor, but he's again everything. People complain that Brendan Aronson is wasteful in possession. He's too slight. Okafor is all of them things. And because there's the odd spark, it gets ignored. Because he looks cool and he's, you know, this Swiss international, it just kind of goes under the radar and people just ignore it and oblivious to it. Like, and I don't want to hate on Okafor. Like, I hope he continues to improve and get better. Like, he's a Leeds player. But the levels of difference in performance between the two of them is night and day. Like, Brendan Aronson was so good today. He was so good today. He was creatively, you know, impressive. He was getting into good areas. He was linking play up. He was confident. You know, when he knocked the ball past and went down the channel, you know, he was unlucky not to get on the end of that. there were other moments as well. He gets himself into that great position. Sure, he's never going to be super clinical. I know we've seen him score some good goals recently, but he's never going to be super clinical. It's not. He's just not got that in him. But you know, to be in that position, and then the work rate. I mean, his level of effort today was nuts. I'd just honestly, I'd encourage you all to go and have a look at how many kilometres he covered today. It was ridiculous. His ball recoveries, how, you know, even in the tight areas, he's a tiny guy, right? He's 5'5" with very little on him. He's hustling and bustling like crazy, knocking 3 or 4 players, like just a terrier, just to try and keep hold of the ball. And he you know, more often than not, he keeps the ball, he wins the ball. You know, when he first came to the Premier League, I'll agree 100%, he was far too soft. He used to get budged off the ball, complain for a free kick, and then be pissed off when he didn't get it. He doesn't do that now. He's a completely different player. If that version was still here, I'd be saying, no, he's not good enough. But I've been so impressed with him this season.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I think with Okafor, I agree with you. And I think we've got to be careful, not us too, because I think we're balanced with it. But I see a lot of people completely writing him off as well. There's a section now saying Okafor's been like a bad signing or anything like that. And I don't agree with that. I think you've got to give players time. You know, players have got to have time. I know it's the Premier League and the pressure is there to hit the ground running. I get that. But I think you can't write anybody off completely. You know, I mean, look at some of our players that have come down. I mean, Gruev, you know, he would have been written off completely. People are happy for him to be sold. And yet he's still got a part to play. And I think Nmecha, Okafor has got a huge part to play. And if he can get closer to that potential that you can see in those moments where he darts in and out of a defender, brilliant, you know, absolutely brilliant. If he can kind of step up with the rest of his game, if we can have a bit better final product, he's going to be absolutely lethal. Let's not give up on players straight away or after a few months. Let's give them time.
There's a couple of things with Okafor, Browney. I genuinely think he's probably the most talented player in the whole squad.
Yeah, I agree.
I genuinely do. I think he's the most overall talented individual quality player that we've got. And you've got to remember that he's had a lot of injuries and he's had a lot of seasons out of first team football. He's also learning a new country. He's adapting to the Premier League. You've got to give him time. It's the same argument I'd make about Lucas Perry in a different way, but you know, Okafor's got so much time on his hands with us, and if we orchestrate it right, he'll be an absolute force for us. There's things that he needs to do better and adapt to. You know, I find him frustrating in between his selfishness and when he then releases the ball. I don't think his decision making in that area of the game is very good. No. He's so good that he can do it on his own. So sometimes it feels like he then just doesn't need anybody else around him. And sometimes that is actually true. But he then doesn't make the right decisions effectively for the team. You know, the quality of the cross in the first half, he does all the good work and then he whips it across, but it's basically at head height for the keeper. The keeper should really catch it. So yeah, there's just bits here and there, but yeah, let's not wash his hands of him. Man, you know, come on now. We've got a good value signing on his hands there. And if we play his cards right, we could be looking at a £40 million player.
Yeah, absolutely. Other performances elsewhere, then Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a couple of chances, had a nice little finish. I couldn't tell if he should have done better with that or it was just it flashed across. And
it was past the post, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did think it were in for a split second. I thought you could hear the fans thought it was in as well. But, I mean, DCL doing what DCL does, the hold-up play, the little touches around the corner. Ironically, it's funny, when you give Dominic Calvert-Lewin loads of space on the ball for him to kind of run into it, he kind of finds a way to lose the ball. I don't know if you've noticed that a couple of times. Yeah. He looks like he's kind of playing on stilts a bit. He kind of prods along and then, it's so much better when it's like a quick touch off, a quick pass off around the corner and getting in that 6-yard box. But, I mean, he's just so important, isn't he? I mean, it's a phenomenal run that he's on. Didn't get the goal today, but God, what he's given this Leeds team this season is irreplaceable, really.
He were excellent, mate. I mean, he had he didn't have very much to work from because, like I said, Darlow's distribution today I thought was terrible. Didn't really give him any opportunity at all. And what he did, you know, what he was able to get around was still then really good. He linked the play really well. So many little smart touches that bring the midfield into play, keep hold of the ball. And you're right, like sometimes when he's got too much time, he kind of runs himself into a dead end. And because he's not got the technical ability to kind of bring it back inside, But he's very clever, wins corners, wins free kicks. Really, I mean, he's so good in the air. And we didn't really give him any service today to kind of feed on other than that Arrington cross. If anything, Calvert-Lewin got too close to the front post. That's what happened. It was a bit like the Sunderland goal. But he ran too far, and which then meant that the power that he got on it was too much. He needed less contact if he were going to go past the post that far. But yeah, I'm really happy with his performance, mate. I mean, I think and this goes for all of us. We did not know your game, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. We did not know your game. And he is one of them that when he plays in your colours and you've got him fully fit, you understand the footballer that he is. We would never, ever, ever, ever have gone out in our first Premier League season and been able to sign a striker as cultured and as ready and as experienced for Premier League football as Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Not our chance in hell in our first season up. It has been such a smart piece of business, and the club backing themselves to get his fitness right as being the be-all and end-all of making that work. It's been perfect signing, literally a perfect signing.
It's the way it's fallen into place for us, Jay. I mean, to pick up 2 frees that have now got you 14 goals in the Premier League. I mean, I was probably looking at the start of the season going, because let's be honest, DCL, he didn't have a phenomenal scoring record before he came to Leeds, and Nmecha had been injured, not scored many goals for 4 years. You're thinking, what are we doing here? Is this? But you look at it, you're going, it's absolutely incredible. Best league in the world, and these guys have just come in and doing it. And it's tribute to them, but it's tribute to what the club are doing behind the scenes, the environment, the building for the players, the medical team, Farker, the coaching team, how they're getting the best of their tools. I mean, I think this season is just developing into just a really brilliant season for us. I know the league position was still in 16th. Obviously, it'd be nice to be a bit higher, but for what we're expecting, what we need, I honestly don't think it could have gone any better. And with a few twists of fate, we'd probably be at mid-table. I mean, it's absolutely wild.
I genuinely don't think it could have been any better, Brownie. No. I mean, you're right. Like, a little bit of luck here and there, and we have got another 4 or 5 points. Easy. Like, nobody could tell me that this team wouldn't deserve another 4 or 5 points on the board. No. For large parts, we've been absolutely brilliant. We've been so competitive with a squad that I will continue to say I don't think technically is as good as most of them around us. But together, the whole connection of it, and you're right, I mean, the recruitment team, we gave them pelters, the fan base absolutely mullered them during the summer. They were brave. They were really, really brave. And, anything could happen between now and game week 38, but up until this point, they have nailed it. They've absolutely nailed it, because we don't even want to progress too quickly. You don't want to take that risk and go for them mega book signings that go wrong and then you end up going back down. Yeah. We have grown progressively, perfectly as it stands, into being safe this season and then establish yourselves next season or even the season after that. Like, it literally is going as perfect as you could hope. Look at what's happened in and around the bottom end of the Premier League table over the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Take into the consideration as well that Sunderland have done a good job in the matter as well, which then take one of the spots in the bottom 3. You know what I mean? We have honestly done so well. And like, what really impresses me the most, Brownie, is just how competitive we are every single week. Outside of Arsenal, we have been, honestly, in every single game. You cannot grumble with that.
No, you can't. No, you can't, absolutely. And I think if you look at the recruitment team as a whole, I mean, how many transfers have gone well for us, since the 49ers came in? And, I know the recruitment team changed this summer, but if you look at that kind of 3 years or those 3 transfer windows, there's not many misses. And that's phenomenal for signings, isn't it? I mean, what's your percentage of good
any?
Yeah.
Any negative ones?
No, I mean, there's, even if you look, and you're looking, that was only a loan. Yeah, it was a high loan fee, but it wasn't tens of millions of pounds or anything. It's been phenomenal. I mean,
every single one of them, Brownie. I mean, even the ones that have come and gone. Glenn Kamara served a purpose. Joe Rothwell. Joe Rothwell served a purpose. Got us promoted, part of that team. There's who can you criticize? Born Owl this season is serving a purpose. Shown himself to be quality. Like Caldalo, like he's serving a purpose. Like there's so much good that's gone on, and then you look at the absolute steals that we've got. Nmecha, Calvert-Lewin, Nmecha, Joe Rodon, bargain, really, when you look at what he's given us. Jacobiol has now come into the player that we hoped it would be. Anton Stack for 15 million quid. I mean, if other Premier League teams knew what Stack was going to deliver after 20 games, they'd have paid 30 million quid for him in the summer. They would have done 100%. And that's an unbelievable recruitment. I genuinely struggle to think of a bad one. I really struggle to think of a bad one.
Yeah, absolutely. And one I do want to mention and give a shout out today, I thought he was absolutely phenomenal and looked as if the rest had done him good last week, was Gabby Goodmonson at left back. I thought it was a monster. I thought going back, I mean, the covering runs he was doing, the way he mops up, the way he drives forward, he looked really sharp. I mean, how much was Gabby? What was it, 10 million or something? I mean,
10 million quid. Bear in mind as well, we got him from European football and we got Lucas Perry from Champions League football. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think it was Champions League, Perry. Yeah. He definitely played in the Europa League last season. But
won it, yeah.
These are players that, again, the recruitment team have sold the project to. Gabby Goodmonson, I would argue, would play minutes in nearly every single team in this division.
Yeah.
Genuinely do. I think Gabby Goodmonson I think Man City would love Gabby Goodmonson. I genuinely do. Because defensively, I think defensively his games come on loads as well over this season. But going forward, he is such a handful. I mean, he's so fast as well. I've just seen Gav mention about the Wilson challenge. I mean, I've gone back and forward and been angry and this. Yeah. But, if this was a Leeds perspective and Gabby Goodmonson was running away from Willie Gnonto or whoever, you'd want him to do that challenge. It's one that many referees are not going to give a red card for because it's not considered as dangerous. It looks awful and it's so blatant, but you can understand why Harry Wilson did it because Fulham were absolutely at 6 and 7 at the time. Sorry, it came into my mind. But they were all over the place, weren't they, at the time? So,
Well, the young lad at Chelsea won it. It was Gabby again. Then won it Esteban that Gabby because he's relentless. He's relentless. He's just at you and he's physical and he's fast and he's a nightmare. I think on reflection, I think you're right with that, Jay. Because at the time I was like, get him off. But roles reverse. You would want it to be that way. Ryan, thanks for your comment, mate. Our fixtures look very good. Of the 16 games left, 9 of them are teams currently in the bottom half. We are the other team in the bottom half. Yeah, I mean, it's looking very, very positive, Jay. We've got some great opportunities coming up. I mean, Everton, it's away next Monday, but, you would back us to go there and put a good competitive performance in. And if things go our way, we can easily walk away with 3 points in that one.
You don't fear them, do you?
No.
And we're not in a position where we have to really worry about the games that are coming. We can go there with the confidence and calm of the fact that we're not safe, but there's a gap. We're playing good football. We're capable of causing any single team problem. I mean, we've lost one game now in 10, I think it is, or 9, whatever it is. And that was a mad game at Newcastle in which we deserve to win. You know what I mean? So, we are in a really, really good spot. I'd say another 3 wins and it's done. Personally, but West Ham are showing a little bit of fight back, and we do have to respect them. That situation in terms of the fixtures, people have not really kind of spoken about that at all, because December was just meant to be so bad for us, and we went out and not lost a game. It just shows you, doesn't it? You still got to go and win them games, but it is certainly favourable, especially the games that we've got at home. Like today. We've got Wolves to come at home. We've got Sunderland to come at home. We've got who else? I'm pretty sure that we've got a few more of the ones down there. Burnley. We've got Burnley to come at home. These are real winnable games for us. And I mean, to be fair, the other teams are winnable as well. Other than Arsenal, I think we can cause anybody a problem at home. Even maybe Arsenal. Who knows? I know that we've got them to play as well. So they won't want to come at Welland Road right now. They won't.
No, indeed. I just want to go through some post-match comments because I always love hearing from the opposition manager, especially just because very often managers, they don't really want to admit that
they've been second best. But Marco Silva again, I mean, he says here, if you love football, you'll have to try to enjoy this type of ground. Difficult, but if you want to grow, you have to face this type of challenge. We were able, even with the crowd pushing them, to be brave and calm the crowd, but missed the other step. Not good, lost the game, have to congratulate Leeds and move on. Second half did not get to the performance levels that were required. And that's the second time, because he said similar things after the first time, and they were dead lucky to beat us that time.
Yeah, they were.
From a Farke point of view, and there is an update on Bijol as well. So Farke said, we faced an informed Fulham side, fully deserved to win it, did not concede any chances, clean sheet, and in this manner after the late pain against Newcastle and Fulham. 2 key players injured in last session yesterday. Says Bijol's injury may prompt action for a centre-back. So it depends on his recovery in the next few days, because I know, Gav, you asked earlier, I think it's a groin injury apparently. Now he's expected to be out for 3 to 5 weeks, but if there's any setbacks in the next week or so, it doesn't rule out moving for someone late in the window. So there we go. Whether that changes things on maybe signing other players, or what, if the priority suddenly switches to centre back, we'll have to.
I believe the club wanted one anyway, Brownie. I mean, there's been too much noise about Danilo Doke. I think we just go and make that one happen. He's got 6 months left on his contract. Yeah. Go and pay the 10 million that they want or whatever, and it'll look like a bit of a snip. The squad needs it right now, because Bornau can't be trusted. Pascal can't be trusted in terms of the injury history. Thought he was very good outside of a couple of moments as well, by the way, today, Pascal. We've got to make sure that we've got the coverage in that area of the pitch. Justin can do a job there. We've seen what a great performance that was today, but what happens if Bogle's then injured? And Bornau's injured. You've got the situation, and I would love. I mean, I've been so impressed with the club and the way that they've moved in this window with Buonanotte. That were clearly something that's been kind of bubbling in the background for a bit. They've managed to get that one done. That should have happened in the summer. We all said it should have happened in the summer. He should have done it for him, but alas, this is the way that it works sometimes. He's now got to earn his spot in this team, which is a great problem to have, because it's quality, And I would love the club to go and sign a centre-back that's going to be with us in the Premier League for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
In this window. So you're not just buying for this next 4 or 5 months, and go and make Strand Larsen happen. Right? Just go and make it happen. Right. And it's gonna be a difficult negotiation, because there's gonna be plenty of other teams that want him as well. His last season doesn't just disappear because he's not playing this season. It's very, very clear that Wolves need to get rid of him in this window, because if they don't, I think what's going to happen is that 65 million that Newcastle were offering, that Wolves were turning down in game week 4 when they'd lost 4 in a row. He's signed a new contract. There's a big change in the minimum fee release clause in that contract. I'm telling you now, it's going to go from 65 to 20, 25. Yeah. He will have negotiated that. Look, if we go down, this is what's, this is the amount, because I want to have the pick of the clubs. Yeah. So go and put 35 million down, 40 million, because he's gonna bring that back in waves. You need that quality if you're gonna then develop. So then you spend the rest of this season integrating him, using him as and when, building him back up, building his confidence alongside Nmecha, alongside Calvert-Lewin, alongside Okafor, and then in the summer you can make some really educated decisions. It might be. I know I'm talking quite a lot here about this, but it might be a case in the summer that Nmecha, has built up a little bit of value, is now seen as surplus to requirements, because we've got Strand Larsen, Okafor and Calvert-Lewin, and you move him on for 10 or 15 million quid.
Well, the thing is, we live in that day and age, and I think this is probably what Leeds fans generally might struggle a little bit with, is there's going to be big sales probably every year going forward, because you have to balance the books. We know that. So there could be a big hit of goals in the summer. The key is how you recruit after that. It's what you do from there. And I think with what we've done so far, it looks promising. Ryan does say, if we get Strand Larsen and a high quality centre-back, could be our best January in my lifetime. I know it would be, wouldn't it? I mean, I remember being really excited that last Premier League one, though, where we did Rutter,
Verber and McKennie, I did think at the time, I was like, oh my God, that's really good. The less said about that, the better. But it feels this time you're getting a bit better of a profile of player, and you just know it's better research than Victor Orta and whatever mad tangent those guys were on. Should we have a look at the league table?
Do it, mate.
Let's have a look. Here we go. So, I've had to put more teams on it now because we've got more points and we're starting to catch a few of the others up. So the 8-point lead's still there, obviously, after West Ham beat Spurs away, but now only a point behind Bournemouth, 2 points behind Tottenham and 3 points behind Crystal Palace. Forest, I found Forest, I tell you what, I'm looking over my shoulder. I'm not sure about Forest. You know, they've got Arsenal tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you would back them not to pick up anything there. They've been on pretty rotten form.
Tonight is that. It's 5:30. It's today.
5:30? Oh, is it today? Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We'll have to wait to see what's going on there. But yeah, it's looking good. It's looking positive, Jay. 25 points after 22 games. It's a dream position, really.
It really is, mate. I mean, again, I would snatch your hands off at it. You know, another clean sheet today. We're scoring goals at a good rate. 30 goals in 22 games is not bad at all. You know, you compare that to the 4 teams that are below us and you see why we are on 25 points and they're not. You know, that is the key difference. I think defensively, I think we are far better than people give us credit for. The 37 goals makes it look bad, I think. But I actually think we're defensively, we're really solid. And, you know, we're now 3 points off Palace in 13th, the FA Cup holders. You know, a team that everybody was waxing lyrical over. We've scored more goals than them, 7 goals more than Crystal Palace, with all their attacking intent. And I know they've had a bit difficult season and a difficult summer with the players that they've lost, Eze and all the rest of it, but they've still got so much quality. And we're bridging the gap to them. You know, we've lost the same amount of games as Spurs. You know, like this is really impressive and deserves the flowers. It really does. 25 after 22. Cannot grumble at all. I'd just get another 10 points on the board now as quickly as possible, and we can really enjoy the rest of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you, everyone who's got involved, commented. If you've not done so already, please do like the video. Get subscribed to the channel. Myself and Jay will be back midweek next week to chat all things Leeds United, looking ahead to the Monday night fixture against Everton, which should be good. Hopefully a repeat of last time we played them on Monday night, but we'll wait and see. We will be back soon. I've been Stephen Brown. With me has been Jason Booker. Jason, thank you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And we will see you again soon. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, Leeds United fans. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.